It is always my pleasure to have you, good people, wherever you are, wherever you're watching from, live on GoTV, free to air, and different mobile applications. From mobile app, YoTV and Airtel TV. It's always my pleasure, and I'm always looking up to this moment, up this program, up this time, when I can have you again to watch Back to Basics, the program that brings you back to the principles, the right principles, understanding the principles of different aspects of life, and then from there you have a whole perspective of how life is supposed to be. You're very much welcome. My name is Moses, and I'm your host of Back to Basics that comes all your way from Monday to Friday, live on Bethany TV for Health. In the studio this evening, I'm happy and privileged to have Counsel Charity. Charity, you're very much welcome.
Thank you.
And Charity is a regular. I've been hosting Charity here, speaking on different aspects. But today and this evening, we want to dive into understanding our differences, understanding them, but not stopping there, but also knowing how we can accommodate each other, especially in a relationship. But for now, let me first welcome Charity again and make her feel at home with me here in the studio. You're very much welcome, Charity.
Thank
and
you.
I'm happy to have you again. You can go ahead and say hi to the viewers, and then we'll continue with our program.
Hello, our dear viewers. Happy to see you again, to hear from you. And today we are very excited to share another beautiful topic that will help us in our lives in the long run. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much, Charity. And yes, like I had said, we are different. That's why I'm Moses probably, and that's why she's Charity. Aren't we different, Charity? Yeah? Aren't we different?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are different, and God made us differently. But this was on purpose. Different talents, different physical appearances, different behaviors, and not only the natural characters and behaviors that we are born with and talents, but also when we are born in some societies, the nurturing, the background, the upbringing, the people we interact with, definitely they make us different. And now when we come to get our life partners, because I just want to narrow this to the relationship, when we come to get our partners, life partners, we all have these differences. Sometimes you meet someone at 25, at 30, you've not been growing with this person, definitely you are bound to have differences. That is the standard. But now, the brainer is, how do we accommodate these differences? So that's what we are going to look at, and that's what we are discussing this evening on Back to Basics. So Charity, to just give a background of our topic, when we are talking of accommodating each other, what do we generally mean, especially in relationship?
Thank you so much, Moses. When we talk about accommodating and acceptance, they mean pretty much the same thing. And accommodating is being able to accept someone for who they are, appreciate their unique qualities and differences between the two of you, and understanding that we are all born and raised in different environments, and therefore our exposure is different. So being able to accept them the way they are and not trying to change them is what we call accommodating a person and appreciating the differences. Yes.
Do you think it's very important in a relationship?
Of course, it's very important, because to be able to, you see, the Bible says that two people cannot walk cannot walk together unless they agree to walk as one.
Yes.
So if you're going to walk as one, then you must be able to accept certain things about you and your partner that are different, and be able to understand those things, because we cannot 100% be the same, even between you and your sibling.
Yes.
Between you and, even if you're twins.
Between you and your father.
Yeah, even if you're twins, you cannot be the same. Even if you're both girls, you cannot be the same. So to be able to live with each other, you have to be able to learn your differences and appreciate them, and actually see them in the angle that they are just different, unique qualities that each of us has.
Wow.
Yes.
It's very interesting, and I think you brought in the Bible. The Bible brings it properly, like for this reason,
Yes.
a man or a woman shall leave parents and go to a man, and the two shall become one.
Yeah.
So that becoming one,
Yes. Exactly.
it really requires one to completely understand how to appreciate individual differences.
Yes.
And I think that's very important. I just want to bring in this perspective in our relationships, in our societies. You know our society. What are some of those differences before we look at how we can accommodate each other?
Yes.
And I know you ladies, you always have the non-negotiables
Yes.
when you're looking for people. I don't know how you do it, but let's first look at what are some of those differences that actually exist between people generally.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. The differences start from when you are born. You know, in criminology, there is a theory that they believe that people become criminals based on factors around them, where they are raised, who has raised them. That's why you find we have a lot of crime in like third world countries because of poverty. So even the differences, like where you're born.
As a result of hustling.
Yeah. You have to
people
survive.
End up hustle and survive in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's a jungle.
Right. It's a
so
jungle,
we
yes.
start from birth. That's why we talk about the different family backgrounds. Those are already differences. Because when you're born in a certain family, there is a way you guys eat, there is a way you guys sit. Some people pray every night before they sleep, which now brings in the religious differences between you and your partner. When we talk about family, we also talk about culture, the culture you come from. Some people are maybe like, let's say the Baganda, you must kneel when you're serving your husband, and maybe another person is born in another culture, maybe, I don't know, Western Uganda, where people, not to say that that's rude. So like when we talk about acceptance, it's be able to understand your differences. Know that even when she serves me, when she is standing and humbly says, here is your dinner,
it doesn't mean that she's not submitting.
Exactly.
She's
and also it doesn't
as
mean
a wife.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that also the one who is kneeling is actually respecting you. So it's being able to understand and being yourselves. Like I said, acceptance has a lot to do with selflessness. So we talk about financial differences. You can be, someone may be born in a poor family and marries a guy from a rich family. So it means that her behaviors and her perspective about finances and how the money should be spent and her saving culture.
I've heard, I don't know if it's true, that as these days when like girls and guys are dating, there's a question of, tell me about yourself. And so someone was like, when they ask you, tell me about yourself, they actually don't mean I'm humble, I'm what, no. They mean in terms of finance and connecting
like who are
finance.
you? Like
who are you?
Do you know who do you know who I am? When they talk about their father,
their
or
fathers,
mother,
yes. For example, a son of who and this and this, and you know, the other tall building.
Yes.
So those are also differences that you're talking about.
Yes. So there are many.
There are many, but there's one interesting thing which you've spoken about, like the family culture.
Yes.
And I remember this thing of like celebrating birthdays.
Yes.
So you find that charity in their homes, like celebrating a birthday, is something that they must
big,
do. Yes, so big, like they must do.
Especially women.
Especially women. But also, yes, now you meet a guy where it wasn't something very, not even very, they don't do those things.
Oh, like, they were saving, that's seen as wasting money.
What they were saving.
Yeah.
And now it's not used to.
Yeah.
So your birthday passes and the guy forgets something.
Yes, and you want to break up. Because I know people who have actually broken up because, I mean, he keeps forgetting my birthday. That's so important to me. Yeah, so in terms of accommodating, you need to understand.
Yes.
Actually, every time, personally, when I meet people, when they behave a certain way that I don't appreciate, maybe in a relationship or even in my daily life, I usually choose to know who they are first. Because usually, if you have a partner and you understand where they are born, who raised them, you find someone is an orphan, you know, they don't know what it means to love. So they love you, but they just don't know how to show it. So sometimes when you study a person's character, someone may be a good person, but just because they forget your birthday, you lose such a nice partner in life, and you go for someone who will celebrate your birthday but is cheating on you, doing all these things that you also don't like, yet you could have understood and accommodate, because we said selflessness.
Yes.
Taking time out of your comfort zone to study and know why is this guy like this? And then we're not saying that you should use that as an excuse not to be better people, but don't pressure them to change. But you can appreciate them. You know, there is always an angle you can approach your partner and still get through your way. So you find like in the long run, you have balanced. I was listening to some gentleman who said he used to be a very good husband to his wife. But he said, no, it took me 35 years. And now I realize that this gentleman, he said he loved his wife. She was so beautiful. Everybody used to admire her. And that's one of the things that attracted him to her. But he had to accept the fact that she's always going to be beautiful and it's a good thing. Now he had to deal with the fact that he needs to appreciate that he himself has values and a contribution he makes in her life. So because he had not recognized, he thought without her he can't live. He didn't recognize that he's also a valuable person, that he's, you know, he has things that also she is attracted to. He had become jealousy. But he said when he realized that, he stopped being jealousy, and they are now happy. And when asked what he loves the most about this relationship now, he says, I love my wife the most when she's in her element, when she's doing things she loves, when she's like, he says there are some things he used not to like about her with time. But now he realizes that he was making a fuss of it. Like, for example, things like going to church. He is a prayerful man.
Yes.
But his wife says, it's not my thing. I grew up in my family were atheists and all that. And that's why we talked about something like non-compromisables. If you're someone who knows, the Bible says do not unequally yoke.
Yes.
So if you're this Christian who believes that you shouldn't unequally yoke, then see it now that if it's an uncompromisable now, don't get in a relationship with a man who is telling you, for me, I don't believe God exists. And now in the relationship, the whole time you're stressed and stressing him to trying to make him what you want him to be. That is not accommodating.
That's not accommodating.
Yes.
So Charity, judging from our society, how easy for some relationships that you know, how easy is it for people to accommodate each other? Do we see a problem in our society that is coming from differences which are not being accommodated?
Yeah, of course, it is not easy to accommodate a person, because like I said, it takes time for you to say, you know, this person smokes and me, I don't like smoking, and the house smells smoke all the time, and it's a habit of his that he also can't just say, from today I'm not smoking and that's it. It also takes patience. It takes patience. It takes empathy to be able to be in his shoes and say, what would I do if I were him? How easy is it for him to get out of this habit?
Yes.
If your difference is about financial, how much is this person trying? Because sometimes you find the person is really trying so hard. They're trying so hard to make your lives better, but you're this woman, you're so extravagant, you're not, because like we said, it's selflessness. There are some things, it's like you cut something like from yourself. You're allowed to lose something, like you compromise. It may be for a certain period of time, but it's not easy, but it is possible. You have to be patient, because even as you're seeing them as a problem, you also have issues about you that they don't like.
Yes.
But they're also being patient. So it shouldn't be like, I'm doing you a favor. Like, can you imagine, I've been withstanding your smoke, I've been withstanding your this and that. All the time you're in their face telling them that, then you're not loving them. Because even then they will tell you what they have done for you. And that's how relationships end up, you know,
doing a wrong turn.
Yes, we shouldn't do it like we are helping each other in terms of, I'm doing you a favor. You should be grateful I'm with you. You know, there are some ladies who are like, you know, I'm doing this guy a favor to be with him. I mean, look at him. He can't even drive. I have men who can, you know.
Who can drive,
yeah.
yes.
But okay, why didn't you go for those men? Because once we say acceptance, once you decide to enter this relationship,
Yes.
then you should enter this relationship and don't use any of the things you think are favors against this person. Take them for who they are. And one thing I believe is that we can always make them better. And with wisdom, the Bible says that a wise woman wins their husband by their chaste conversations. Chaste is another word to mean discipline. A disciplined conversation. You may not even say anything, but he will observe the way you do things, and he will definitely love you.
Not using those differences to control you because you're financially different from me as a woman, therefore you as a man, you must do some, you keep doing things at home, you're the one to do most of the things to kind of compensate that difference.
And you know, a man may be like, you know, my woman, she's always saying, let's try this out, and he's seeing your effort. Okay, so for you, if you're from a rich family, what are you doing to better your family? Because like you said, that now the two become one and they walk as one.
And they should walk
so
as
if,
one.
if your husband, you know, sorry to overbring in the Bible, but that when the Bible is talking about the virtuous
now the Bible,
wife,
it's okay. The Bible gives us the principles, and this is back to basics. So and there are principles which are beyond reproach. So therefore, you are right to use the Bible, honestly.
Thank you. So in Proverbs 31, when it's talking about a virtuous wife, a virtuous woman, it says her husband is praised in the courts. He's praised because his husband. So should your husband appear the other side disorganized and everything, the whole family is in shame. So when you're a woman and you say, okay, maybe you think you're better than you, okay, my husband is very disorganized. You know, people break up for things like he always leaves his socks in the sitting room, he's disorganized and everything. How about,
he's very disorganized.
Yes. How about you keep this laundry? Instead of telling your friends and everybody about it and making him feel bad about it, and therefore he doesn't feel like he wants to change. After all, he has nothing to save anyway. How about every time you try to deal with it internally first? If you're gonna, there is a way you can talk to him about it when he's in a happy mood, you know. So generally in relationships, it's stepping out of our comfort zone, but also people should not take advantage of it and just say, you know, for me, I can cheat on my wife, she's always there. But when you choose to love each other, it shouldn't be about what you do for me. Someone, my friend always tells me, he's a married man, recently married man. He always tells me that in a relationship, in a marriage, now I've come to appreciate that it's more of what I bring. When I focus on what I can bring for my wife, instead of what is my wife doing for me, we have since been happier. So in a relationship, when we say accommodating, you have to be able to be empathetic, be understanding, appreciate that God has created us differently, that not every man, and stop comparing your man or your woman with another man or woman outside your relationship. Otherwise, if you wanted her very tiny, or you don't know, you want her to have a big nyash, then you should have gone with the one with a big nyash. Not now coming with this one and the whole time you're telling her she's not enough. Every time you're saying it's not enough. Yeah, so generally we have to be empathetic, understanding, and embracing the differences that we have. Even people go ahead and compare people with others on TV and why don't you dress like the other woman? Why don't you eat like the other woman? Actresses, even people that have never even stepped in Uganda, for example, and you find they are comparing you with that person, and you're like, what's up? Actually, there is a notion that men, that why someone was explaining the concept of why most men will cheat on their, the Bible calls it the wife of your youth, the one you got when you were broke, and then now you married her, then later on you want to divorce her and get the one you want. So it was like, why do men cheat on the wife who was patient with them when they were nobodies? In the tough times, and when people were not even interested in him. Yeah, for the wife that you could afford, and now you want to go for the wife that you want. So before you go to a wife you could afford, but the wife you could afford can also be the wife you want. It's all about finding the middle ground. And they were saying that it's because at that point they have no money. They have no money, so that's the one they can afford, the one who can bear with them. But now they want the other girl with big nyash, the one from the TV, the one, like you said, the one from the radio and stuff. So they're trying to cheat, but that's not accepting or accommodating each other, and which is unfortunately increasing the rate of divorce today. Yes.
You're very much on point, and I just want to we look at, after identifying or seeing these differences, how do we go ahead to show accommodation without, first of all, putting the other person in a situation where he feels a low self-esteem? Because I think some people might do it badly. How do you find that middle balance whereby you show support, you show that you're accommodating without putting either party into a situation of low self-esteem? And we will do that after this short break. For now, we'll have a short break. Happy to have you back from that short break, and we are still on Back to Basics, live on Bethany TV for Health, talking about differences and how to accommodate them in reference to a relationship. And in the studio with me, I have Counsel Charity, and together we are trying to discuss, understand how do these differences come along, and if they are there in a relationship as trying to walk that walk as one, two people as one, how do you I may not use reconcile, but how do you accommodate and appreciate that you're different, but then you need to live as one? For the break, we're introducing in a concept of how do we show that accommodation without putting either party into a situation of low self-esteem. And that's where we are, Charity. How do we show accommodation to each other?
Thank you so much, Moses. Okay. How do we show accommodation to each other?
Yes.
One thing that we should always base on ourselves on, like we're saying, back to basics, is the fact that we should first recognize that we are human beings. And when you're human beings, it doesn't matter the differences that you have, maybe religiously, culturally, like we said, financially or whatever. Being physically, human, by the way. Even physically, the differences are so many. That's why so many organizations currently, they have a principle of inclusivity. They always put it so that they allow for people to appreciate the differences, and we call it diversity in the long run. So how do we show accommodation? Number one, recognize it, that this person is from a different family background as me. I don't expect them to 100% behave like me. When you recognize it, you're empathetic. So when you're dealing with it, it's from an understood point of view. You've understood this person, you've understood that there are very many other things about this person that are so beautiful. You don't capitalize on the differences that you have. That is what we mean by recognizing and being empathetic.
So you recognize that my man is a short man, therefore I should not be asking him to pick things where he can't reach.
Yes, and also I should actually show him that I'm proud of him. That because I know that naturally people who are short often feel disrespected. So to avoid that being the biggest issue in your relationship, that for every difference you have, he will say, because I'm short, you actually show him that you're proud of who he is and you love him no matter what.
Can go with together parties openly.
You're proud.
Not those things of Gena Msangeyo.
Yeah, you're like, guys, this is my husband. Yes. Meet my husband. He's so, you understand, you show respect to him. That's actually another way, showing respect to this person. Just because they've done something that you don't agree with should not be your point of judgment and defining those people. Our differences don't define us. So the other thing that we can do to show that we accept each other, you have to embrace the differences that you have with people. You see, if someone is from the village and you're a city girl, or you're a city guy and you're dating a village woman, when they say maybe after you get married and they're like, this Christmas maybe for us women, so we are going to my village, so you're going to meet my village mates, parents, and you know,
who are really born and raised from the villages, and
there is no man who wouldn't be happy to realize that I have this city girl, but there are things she does that people don't expect her to do. Like even when you don't know how to do certain things, you're used to, you know, cooking with gas and all that. But when you reach and show interest in the kitchen, even when you may not know how to use, you know, those local sources, charcoal stoves and everything.
Actually, but firewood, even villages, there are no charcoal stoves. It's firewood and the fire stones where they put. So so you have to burn and put and
and you lose nothing. So actually you realize that the thing that breaks our relationships is ego, because imagine the husband will get annoyed and the whole family just because you reached and you were on your phone cross-legging.
Despised everyone there.
But imagine when you're so beautiful, you're so cool, and you reach and you're bending over there like, oh my God, this woman is so humble. Oh my God, this woman. And your husband, he will be so proud of you. I mean, he can do anything you want. And it was just a small act.
And so they say, you married a very good wife.
Yes, a very good wife. And I mean, men are always so proud to have the wife that is praised. You understand?
Yes.
So, you know, in life, even beyond relationships, when people have a perspective and a bias, naturally their biases towards different things in life. But when you challenge people to the positive side of what they would have expected of a person like you. Have you seen, let's say, a rich man who will go and sit with like poor people and is not even trying to take pictures about it. He's trying to relate to them, trying to speak their language even when they don't understand.
They eat together, the one they roast and the sugar cane. Actually, they give them votes.
Exactly.
Without even asking for them. They're like,
when you do things that, so if you marry this person and they already know that we have differences, that oh my God, my woman, she studied in international schools, she was living abroad, but when you go to the village, she's trying to speak your language. She's trying to speak your language. If I'm married to a Muganda man and I go to his area and I know, yes, my husband may be okay with me not kneeling for him when we are alone. But I know that when we go to their home, it will be an issue if I don't kneel down for him. Okay. So when you reach and you kneel for everybody, they're like, oh my God, I thought these kind of people don't do that. Your husband is going to be so proud of you. So accepting and stepping down and selflessness, again, like we said, trying to do things that you would ordinarily not do can help you show that you have accepted this person in your relationship and supporting this person, and you've respected the differences that you have, because the truth is we can't be 100% the same. We can't be 100% the same. But also there is another thing that shows that you've accepted the person. There is this thing, and it works. If someone does something bad to you and you respond to them in a way they wouldn't expect, like for example, maybe you're married or you're dating. Let's talk about now normal relationships. You're dating this guy and this guy tells you, if you're my girlfriend, I don't want you talking to these men. I don't want you texting these men and all that. And for you, you feel like, I mean, you're not married to me. But he tells you that I want to marry you and I can't marry you if you're this kind of person. The first thing you need to ask yourself, you need to play a picture, sort of like a video, sort of like you should have a vision of what you want. When you marry this kind of person, will you be able to compromise to that extent that my phone has no password, I will do A, B, C, and D that he wants? The problem we have today, we pretend to please each other. We pretend to please each other, and we say, you know what, my baby has said, so you'll do it when he's not seeing you, when he's seeing you. And when he's not seeing you, you will do something else. So we need to be able to understand, if can I take this? Don't say I can't take this when you're already in that relationship. You need to make those decisions early. And if you enter that relationship to show acceptance, then you should do as required, because you foresaw some of those things.
So you're meaning, Charity, you're trying to mean that probably during the process of dating and trying to understand the person, you should be able to discern and know that maybe some of these behaviors or some of these acts that this person is doing, if we continue, I may not be able to accommodate, and therefore you make a decision.
Then don't wait for the relationship and you start saying, I mean, those are red flags.
I saw them.
To be with
I
a person
them,
and you're like, I saw you. I don't know, I saw you. So what did you do about it when you saw me? You understand? You should be able to say, I think I can't compromise on this. I think I can't, I don't want a woman who dresses skimpy. Don't wait for when you're married and you're like, I don't want you wearing short things. I don't want you doing lip gloss. I don't want you, because she's going to be unhappy, she's going to cheat on you, she's going to be sad, and that's going to result into divorce and all that. So to show acceptance, if you don't like people who wear short things and you've taken her the way she is, my dear, you're going to be with her like that. Although it doesn't mean that they won't change. You know, there is a way also you can start doing it in a wise way. And in the long run, she will be on the same page with you. But that's stressful. I would advise that you go for the person who has the non-compromisables on your list. On your list. And if there is something you can compromise on, it's okay, because you will never find a person who 100% ticks your boxes. So you should judge yourself if you can compromise, but not hoping you're going to change the person, because you might be stressed the rest of your life. That's what you're trying to mean. Wow. That's very interesting. So Charity, as we try to conclude our topic, after seeing all this, how do we, and how we actually do it? Is it something that comes immediately? I mean, accommodation. Do we go through certain levels and stages and maybe time, and then it comes finally? How does it come? Is it something that comes from heaven? I'm like, now Charity, I have accommodated you. How does it come about? Thank you, Moses, once again. So when we talk about a relationship, it has stages. When you've just met a guy, there is what we call butterflies in your stomach. You're so excited. When you see his call, you're so excited. Oh my God, at that point, no one can advise you and you listen. Oh, your friends will be like, but that guy, he might be married. You're like, I don't care. I don't think he's married. You rush to like cut off people, whatever they're saying that may not be in your favor. And that's what we call infatuation. And the butterflies are flying in the stomach. So that stage is called infatuation. The butterflies. So that's at that point you're like, oh my God, you keep checking your phone. You probably do those phone calls of up to 3 a.m. You want him to call you all the time. You want him to text you all the time. So that stage is called infatuation. And for everybody, they go through it. It may not be 100% in the same degrees, but it's the same, like, oh my God, my guy, this, my lady, my baby, you know, you call each other all those names. That's why you see some people, they once called each other baby, and at some point they are bamita mama wabana, mama Johnny, mama baby, mama ni. Na before you have a baby. Omukazo wewaka. Omukazo wewaka. That is, you understand? Yeah, I know. Now she sits behind. When you go for function, they're like, my wife is sitting behind. But before, you actually walked with your hand in hand. Couldn't leave her behind. So that is the stage we call infatuation in a relationship. Does it also happen to, because you're only kind of looking at men, I mean ladies, do also men go through that stage and you find like now someone is over heels for maybe Charity and this the guy, or it's mostly ladies? So God has wired us differently. As the women, we are extra emotional, but science says that each person has both feminine and masculine sort of like hormones, estrogen and testosterone hormones in the body. So there are men who are more emotional than others, like, oh my God, this is my woman, like he wants to show you off the whole time. When he's going with his boys, you have to be there. I mean, you have to enter the room and everybody turns their heads, and then he feels like, and then he feels, wow. Yes, and then baby this, he's pecking you in public, and maybe they are female side is stronger than their male side. But yeah, so men also have that. Then there are people, like I said, we have differences even in communication. There are people who go through the infatuation, but they don't overshow it. But they are like, Toina Chongamba about my woman. They're like, man, that woman wears short things. How will you introduce her to your parents? They're like, Toina Chongamba, my baby's hot. Yes. So that is the first stage about infatuation. So the second stage is adjustment. So when you're infatuated, you don't care. You can order food. At that point, infatuation, usually you're not yet even living together. Like, you know how people end up cohabiting? At that point, maybe you're not even cohabiting. You're still in these things. This one is still this side. You're this side. You call each other. You video call, Skype, do everything. Now that's the infatuation stage. So later, as the relationship grows, you start to notice things about each other. You're like, before, in our infatuation stage, you were okay with your woman always ordering online. I mean, she orders Javas, she orders this and that. You're like, baby, don't worry, I'll pay.
Okay.
I'll pay.
It's okay.
What house do you want? She chooses the most expensive apartment.
It's
You
okay.
pay. But with time, you start to notice, you're like, but do I need a woman who takes from my pocket all the time? Or now I need a woman who can add to me? You understand? But now that is the stage which we shall call adjustment. Now you start to adjust. You're like, I don't know, maybe I'm overlooking this. Maybe she has something else about her. Maybe she orders online, but I don't know. You now can give excuses, but you're trying to understand the person. There is a way now you're trying, because remember we said differences. Like, you can't meet a person one day and you know everything about them. Definitely. So it's a period of time. So now you're on adjustment. You're like, okay, maybe I don't like women who do short outfits, but at least hers is not that short. You're now in the process of accommodation.
Trying
like,
to face
maybe
the reality.
hers is not that short, but okay, she has nice thighs. Those other people, you understand? You're having like a debate. And for a woman, we give excuses for men we love so much. They're like, but this guy, he doesn't allow you to check his phone. Every time he's going to talk on phone, he goes outside. You're like, no, you guys, he does business deals. They are so private. That guy, I think he even works for CMI.
Okay.
Like, but you're trying to adjust. But you know that in your mind, I don't know if this is right. But now you're now going to the process.
Accept the facts, and you're trying to.
So you're on your way to accept.
Yes.
Now we go to a level we call acceptance. We are not yet at accommodation. We go to a place called acceptance, where you're like, okay, even if he's cheating on me, until now remember, this is over the years or over the months. Okay, yeah, he talks on phone secretly, but this guy gives me everything I want. He has bought me a car. Every time he thinks for me, he knows my baby needs this and that. He's always trying to do things for me. So you're like, as long as you know, these days men don't care what. So you're giving excuses now. You've accepted him. You're like, even if he cheats on me, it's okay. Yet before, you're like, I can't take men who cheat. When you know everything. So what happens is, even on the men's side, they will also be in that stage of, she's this and that, but it's okay. Then we have a last stage called commitment. That's where you say, he will propose to me, I don't know, this guy has so many women, but you commit to marry him despite. Now, when you've committed to marry him, that's the commitment stage of, yes, those are his differences. Now even you can stand on TV, like let's say if he's a politician, and they say things and you're like, that's not my husband. My husband cannot do that. Because now you're committed to protect him, to take him the way he is. You will fight in the bedroom. But outside, you're committed to portray him a certain way. A certain way, like, people don't say things about him. He can't be wrong. Even your man will be with his boys. Like, he knows, man, this woman might be cheating on me. But he will be like, no, she can't. But so he's now committed. He's like, come rain, come sunshine, we are staying in this relationship. You have children now. You're like, our children must grow up with both parents. So those are the stages of accommodating, and you appreciate to stay in that relationship the way it is.
Thank you very much. It's very insightful, and I think These are some of the things that happen in our lives. And I think someone there, if you're in the relationship or planning to be in a relationship, I think this has been very beneficial. You really learn something that can help you to make a decision, or if you're in there already, to see how you can deal with it. So thank you very much, Charity. I'll just give you a minute to maybe the last words, and you say bye to the people that have given us the audience as we conclude.
Thank you so much, our viewers. Thank you, Moses. My concluding remarks is to tell you that it is possible to accommodate your partner and live a happy life, as long as you embrace the differences and accept the fact that we cannot 100% be the same. Focus on the positives, spend less time on the negative side of him or her, and at the end of the day, you will have a happy and successful relationship. Bye.
Okay, well said. Has been Charity and me, Moses, on Back to Basics Live on Bethan TV for Health. I just want to leave you that Bethan Santa Omugabi this Christmas season is there to give you the goodies that you would need to feel you're loved in this season. For now, have a great night and see you next time. Bye-bye.